Hey everyone, JT from Ebike Escape here, and in today's video we're going to take a look at this high-powered, fat tire electric bike, the Ariel Rider Kepler, so let's get into it. Before we take a closer look at the Kepler here, I just want to ask everyone a couple quick favors. If you are looking to purchase any electric bike, please consider using the links down in the description. All purchases made after clicking those links help directly support us here at Ebike Escape, help us continue to make content like this one. Also linked down in the description, we'll have links to our e-bike accessories list, top e-bikes brands page, and our e-bikes discounts codes page, and we will have a link to our newly opened Ebike Escape shop. In that shop, you'll find all kinds of items that we use almost daily here at Ebike Escape. We're actually going to show some of them off in this video. But with all that out of the way, let's take a quick overview look of the Ariel Rider Kepler. So the Kepler has been a bike from Ariel Rider that we've had our eye on for quite some time. It's probably one of the most requested e-bikes for us to review that we've seen on the channel. And we would have loved to get one of these out for review sooner, but really the problem's been that they were out of stock for a long period of time, as most e-bikes were. But we have one here now, so let's go ahead and talk about it. So Ariel Rider is a brand known to us for making high-powered, fast e-bikes. They utilize a 52-volt system, and they also tend to utilize large rear motors, or in some cases, large front and rear motors. And what that allows them to do is really reach speeds that are a lot higher than other e-bikes and provide a lot more acceleration. And one thing that should be practiced on all e-bikes, but more so specifically when you're riding an Ariel Rider bike because of the power and performance that they are capable of, is that please ride your e-bike responsibly. Now, the Kepler is not the first e-bike from Ariel Rider that we've reviewed. We most recently reviewed the Ariel Rider Grizzly, which has dual motors, dual batteries, and front and rear suspension. So if you're looking for something maybe a little bit high-powered and more moped style, that is going to be an e-bike for you. As well as they also offer the X-Class, which is a little bit of a step down from the Grizzly, but still has that awesome moped styling. But in front of us, we have the Ariel Rider Kepler, which comes in at $19.99. but is commonly seen on sale for $18.99, especially at the time of filming. The Kepler is offered in two frame sizes, a low step and high step. Now the low step is more of a mid step, as the top tube bar doesn't come across like this. It really hugs the battery and goes down. So you still have some more room to step over, but not a lot. It is not a true step through. Ariel Rider does not list the recommended height range for the Kepler, but the standover height for the high step, like seen here, is 31 inches, and the standover height for the step through is 26.5 inches. There are 4 color options available. You have the black and red seen here, and also a black and blue, a gray and black, and a gray and pink. And some of those colors are only available in certain frame options. Be sure to pay attention to the website when purchasing. The overall weight capacity of the Ariel Rider Kepler is 300 pounds and also comes in at with a stated weight of 73 pounds total, which is pretty good for a bike that packs this amount of punch. But with that bit of overview out of the way, let's take a closer look. Starting up here at the front, the Ariel Rider Kepler comes equipped with 26 by 4 inch CST BFT tires with this reflective sidewall. These are a grippier tire, so they would be set up for off-road, but you can definitely ride them on-road as well. We have a bolt-on front axle, so just know if you do get a flat, you will need to carry an extra tool with you, as you won't be able to just quick release it off. And then here's a look at a 180 millimeter front rotor and Tektro hydraulic disc brakes. We really like seeing name brand components, especially on a bike with this amount of power. Mounted right here above the brakes, you'll see we have this almost full coverage plastic fender, which do come along with the Ariel Rider. And then here is a look at the 80 millimeter Zoom hydraulic fork. It does have some branding here on the side, nice color here to match the rest of the bike, and AR for Ariel Rider. And then up here on the left side, we have a preload adjustment knob, so you can add a little bit more tension to your spring, and a lockout knob on the other side here if you wanted to remove the suspension spring from the front. Let me go ahead and throw you guys on a tripod and give you guys a look at how that'll soak up some bumps. All right, make sure it is unlocked and give it some pushes. Yeah, it's got a little bit of spring to it. It'll definitely soak up some bumps. It's nicer than a rigid front fork. And Zoom is a brand that we've seen very frequently, especially in brake components. So we do have a little bit of faith that this fork is going to perform nicely for a long period of time. And then tucked nicely here on top of the fork, we have this dual beam LED light. This is one of the brighter LED lights that we've seen offered on a e-bike, but it does not have any sort of flashing feature. So we always recommend a handlebar mounted light because this will provide seeing visibility, but not be seen visibility. And then tucked nicely here behind the wiring, you'll see the Ariel Rider branding along with these front rack mounts. There is a rack purchasable as an optional accessory from Ariel Rider. Here's a look at the wiring. It's wrapped almost all the way into the down tube, but then comes up and splits off where it is wrapped, goes up to the controls. And then coming up, here's a look at the Tektro hydraulic disc brake lever, complete with motor cutoffs. And then coming around, here's a look at the Ariel Rider faux leather grips. Your ergonomics, so they have a place for your palm. We found these to be pretty comfortable, but they are not locking. Just next to that, we have this cool control. So this bottom button is for your headlight. It's how you will turn that on and off. And then you'll notice this blinker control here. So there are no blinkers on the front of the bike, but the tail light has blinkers integrated into it. We're gonna go ahead and insert some B-roll footage of those right now. They are pretty dim and hard to see in the daylight, and it is cool to see a bike come with blinkers as a little nod to safety. Here's a look at the controls. You have simple plus, minus, and power. We'll look at the display in the shade as it's gonna be a little difficult to see, but it's a nice LCD color display. And then on the right side, we have this bell, SIS 7-speed over thumb shifter here, a twist grip throttle, and an Ariel Rider matching grip on the right as well, again, not locking, and a Tektro hydraulic disc brake lever tucked in there nicely. I kind of prefer the right-hand twist grip throttle, but those are not for everyone. Some people prefer thumb throttles. You do have to be a little bit more cautious with not accidentally twisting the throttle for the bike to go. And then I almost skipped over it, but we also have a adjustable stem. So this allows you to change the angle and really adjust the cockpit to fit you, the rider. We always love seeing these come pre-installed by companies. It's just one less thing that you might have to buy and gives you an extra amount of adjustability for you, the rider. All right, let's go ahead and push over into the shade and we will go through the display. All right, now that we're in the shade, hopefully we can see this display a little bit better. It is really nice when they are an LCD color display. They just are a little bit more difficult to see, especially if you have either polarized lenses or you're in direct sunlight. So this is with the brightness all the way turned up. So hopefully you'll be able to see everything. Again, there are 3 buttons on the left here. And you'll notice in the middle of the screen, you'll see your speed. If you push the power button, you get to a total time ridden, total calories burned, and the watts that you're currently putting out. Just a pretty cool thing to see, able to keep track of. You have your trip distance there at the bottom. Push it one more time, and here you have your overall information. So the top speed you've gotten to, your total speed, or what you're going to, and in the bottom left, you have your pedal assist, and that, of course, is 0 to 5. And just a quick note, too, you do have access to the throttle in 0. So just be careful of that when you're getting on and off the bike, that you don't actually twist the throttle. And then once you get here, now to get into the somewhat advanced settings, you press and hold the plus and minus button at the same time. And here you'll get into, you can clear all of your data. You can get into setup, which you can turn the headlights. It'll auto come on when you turn on the bike. You set the unit of measurements between kilometers and miles per hour. You can set the brightness, and you can set how long the bike will stay on before it turns off. And then you go back, and here you have your system info. You can tell the wheel size, the total speed limit. Quick note, I was playing around with this earlier, so that the bike does come shipped as a class 2 e-bike, like it says here, so it has a top speed of 20 miles per hour, but I went in and looked on how to change the speed limit, and I just currently have it set to 40 miles per hour, and that is on throttle as well. So this is a bike that, more than others, like we said before, you need to be very cautious of your settings and be a very responsible rider. As somebody sees an e-bike and all of a sudden they're riding like a little bit of a jerk, and all of a sudden every e-bike rider is a jerk. So just keep that in mind. I will show you how to change that setting real quick now. And then you can also connect to the app. Now, I'm not sure which app that is. I will go ahead and look into that and then give you guys some screenshots of what that looks like in the footage. But there is app connectivity through this, as well as hidden up underneath here, there is a USB charging port on the bottom of the display, so you can charge your device while riding. All right, and to get back, so now let's go ahead and get into the advanced settings. First thing you're gonna do is turn off your bike, and then when you turn the bike on, you're gonna press the power button, and you're just gonna keep holding it. And what's eventually gonna happen is you're gonna get to this screen. It's gonna ask you to input a password. So the password is 1919. And here's where you're gonna get into the advanced settings. You have your controller parameters, which when you get in here, these are all the places you will change your wheel size, voltage you're putting out. Just be very careful here because you can really mess up your controller. But down here at the bottom, you'll see you have your speed limit, and it is in kilometers an hour, so you can change that. When it comes shipped to you, like I said, it'll be a 20-mile-per-hour bikes would be somewhere in the 30s. I just went ahead and quickly turned it up to 60 as we are going to test the bike because we think people like to see what the bikes are capable of. So we're going to test it. I just set it to 40 miles an hour. I don't think it's actually going to be capable of that on motor power alone. You can set what the default assist level is when you turn the bike on. I have it set to 0, but it comes factory set at 1. How many pedal assist levels there are, you can turn that all the way up to 9 or down to 1 or none. We're gonna go ahead and leave that on the factory 5. You can change the boot screen to custom, neutral, default. We're just gonna leave it on custom. You can change what the password is for getting into the advanced settings, as well as you can do a factory reset. So if you do happen to mess with any settings, you can reset it all. I, again, don't recommend you messing with any of these settings except maybe the speed if you are in a place or on private property where you can do that. And then to get out, you will click the back button, the display will shut off, and you'll have to turn the bike back on. And then you can go ahead and verify if you change the speed or what your top speed is set to by going into those first set of advanced settings by pushing the plus and minus at the same time and going to system info. And this will tell you, see now the speed limit is set to 37 miles per hour. And that pretty much wraps up the display. On this top tube here, you'll see the Kepler branding with the red on the sides. Those are the red accents in the black and red. And Ariel Rider is written in red down there on the down tube. While we're also here on the down tube, you will notice these bottle cage bosses here and then 2 tucked nicely under here. If those 2 sets of mounts aren't enough, on our eBike Escape store, we have a product that allows you to mount bottle cage bosses anywhere via a Velcro strap, which is kind of a cool product. And then tucked here but nicely behind the down tube, this is going to be your controller location. You'll see you have some wires that come in and out of it there. And then some more on the down tube here, where the wires will come down, disappear up into the controller. Here's a look at this massive 52 volt, 20 amp hour battery. We're going to go ahead and pull that out here in a bit, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. And then here in front of the controller, we have a double metal sidewall 52 tooth front chain ring that connects to an 11 to 34 tooth rear chainring. That 11 tooth is going to allow you to add a little bit more power at some of the higher speeds that this bike is definitely going to be capable of. Here we have a Shimano Altus derailleur. We found this derailleur to just be adequate. It is kind of on the lower end of the spectrum. And then on the backside of the derailleur, you will notice this adjustment knob. So if you have some shifting issues, you can dial it in, as well as being that this bike is capable of off-road, we have this derailleur guard, which should help protect your derailleur. But just a quick note, if you get your bike and you are having shifting issues, we have seen these be bent in on shipping and not allowing the derailleur full range of motion. And then kind of hidden there inside the wheel, we have the custom made for Ariel Rider by Bafang motor. This is a 1,000 watt motor that peaks somewhere close to 1,850 watts. That is a crazy amount of power. I cannot wait to show you the riding footage and show you what this bike is capable of going uphill. But not only that motor, controller up here is a 33 amp controller. So between this controller combination and that motor, this bike is going to be able to haul us well into some high speeds. We'll be sure to show that off in our riding footage. Here's a look at the CST BFT tire in the rear, tucked behind this nice fender. And then above that, you will notice this rear rack. This rear rack comes pre-installed and comes with the Kepler. It's a pretty beefy looking rear rack. It's got a lot of bolt holes here on the sides. I believe these are bottle cage mounts there. And then you have a pannier bag mount on the side here. You have a bunch of bolt bosses here on the top. There's a couple of pictures where you can mount 2 baskets. Ariel Rider sells baskets for this rack. One quick note about the rear rack though. On the actual website page for the Kepler, the weight capacity is listed at 55 pounds. However, in their Zen help desk section, I saw somebody respond saying the weight capacity was 77 pounds. Either way, this rear rack is extremely beefy and looks like it could tow almost anything you could throw at it, as long as you stay within that weight rating. Here's a look at the rear brake light. It is brake actuated. We will insert some B-roll footage of that right now. It's, like I said, kind of hard to see in the daylight, and trying to reach all the way to the front with my short arms is not gonna work out. Then come over here to this side, you'll see we have a matching 180 millimeter Tektro hydraulic disc brake in the rear. The motor cable comes out between the rotor and the rear chainstay here. And you notice we do have a torque arm on this right side. There was not one on the other side. Here's the look at the motor cable, goes up and runs to there. It's a pretty beefy cable. Makes sense for the amount of amps this motor is pushing or pulling. Here's a look at the rear kickstand. It is adjustable in height, and it is also tucked nicely back out of the way of the pedals. And speaking of pedals, these are Welgo metal pedals. pretty standard pedals. If you're looking for some other recommendations, be sure to check our e-bike accessories list. And then coming up here is a look at the Ariel Rider seat. Now the seat is pretty plush. We have to say it's a little soft. It has some nice Ariel Rider branding here on the back and also has this nice handle tucked down here nicely for, say, lifting and moving the bike around. But seats are something that are rider preference. Be sure to reference our e-bike accessories list where we keep updated with a lot of the seats that we see people commonly buy and recommend. With that out of the way, let me go ahead and pull that battery out and show you how it comes on and off the bike. So this is probably one of the biggest batteries that we've seen come on an e-bike, and given the power and voltage of this bike, it is no surprise to us. The keys are right here. You simply put them in and twist them towards the front of the bike to unlock. The battery slides out to the other side there, and then you simply pick it up and out. You see here, got this little nice groove here. 52 volt there, so you know what you're getting into. 52 volt, 20 amp hour battery. It comes in as 1,040 watt hours of battery power on this beast. The claimed range for this bike is 35 to 75 plus miles. Why that plus is there is because it's all going to depend on how much you're using that throttle and how much power you're using. But we have seen 20 amp hour batteries get us close to 80 miles of range. That was with us definitely riding it more as a commuter style, not as a fun, let's twist the throttle and go fast. So just a quick note of that. On the top of the battery here, you do have a LED display that lights up when you push a button. And then over here on the side, you'll see the charge port for the Ariel Rider Kepler. And the Kepler comes with a 2.5 amp hour charger. It's a little bit larger charger than we see by about half an amp. So, all right, and then to put the battery back in, you have this nub on the side that you will line up on the bottom there, and you will simply slide it in towards the bike, and it will lock, and then you can pull the keys out. The keys are only needed to take the battery on and off. They are not needed to start or ride the bike, so you do not have to leave them in. But if you're trying to remove the battery, make sure you know where they are. All right, that pretty much wraps up the overview. Now let's get to the part that I am the most excited about. Let's see how this bike rides in our neighborhood. And then I will take it up a large hill climb test with me, a 225-pound rider on it, to see just what the minimum speed is. I imagine it's gonna be quite high. So let's get to it. All right, here we are at the first person riding footage part of the review. Just a couple quick notes. When I was riding the bike over here, I cannot comment enough about how powerful this bike actually is. Two things, one being the blinkers. They're very easy to leave on so that you just constantly have them flashing if you use them, so they do not automatically turn off at all. And then the headlight button. So this is actually a toggle switch on or off. So I tend to just leave it on so the headlight does automatically come on, so the setting actually in the display is not needed. And one thing I did notice on this display before we get into riding is that on this main screen, this white bar has a little lightning bolt. This correlates to how much amperage or wattage you're getting. So if you're not on this display screen here, where it actually has the watt number calculation there, you can kind of gauge how much wattage you're getting to the motor from that. So all right, so starting out, we're gonna start in pedal assist level 1. I'm gonna start in gear 1 on the shifter. Gotta climb onto the bike. I'm a little bit shorter than Ryan, of course, so it takes me a little bit to get started. All right, here we go. I'm gonna give myself a little throttle to start out here. All right, there we go. So now I'm gonna go ahead and shift down all the way to first gear on the shifter. There we go. So pedal assist level 1, first gear on the shifter. Not really providing much power. I just feel like I'm spinning my legs to get that cadence sensor going. Let's go ahead and shift up into 2 and 7 speed. There we go. It's a little bit better. 3. Okay, now we're starting to get to the point where it feels like I'm actually contributing to the motor power. There we go. And as you can see, the GPS is reading within about 1 mile per hour or 2 of, oh no, there we go. It's reading about the same as the display. Okay, so here a little bit uphill. This is in pedal assist level 2. So it looks like you're getting, I don't know, anywhere between 12 to 13 with an easy cadence. Could have been to kick it up into pedal assist level 2, instantly feel the motor engage a little bit more. I almost start ghost pedaling immediately. Shift up into 5 on the shifter. Okay, 16, 17, I'd probably go up 1 more into 6th gear on the shifter. Remember, I only have 7. And it looks like we're at about 16, 17 miles an hour. 15, 16 according to GPS. So yeah, this feels like a pretty good, easy cadence here. Let me go ahead and kick it up into pedal assist level 3. Instantly feel that motor kick up. And yeah, it's almost ghost pedaling immediately. I mean, 20, 21, 22, pretty easily there. I mean, this is, GPS is saying 23, 24. I mean, and I'm in 7th now on the shifter, and yeah, I'm just providing power to keep it going. So this is pedal assist level 3. Let's go into 4. Feel the motor kick up again. Look at that watt meter. If you can see, it goes all gray, means it's providing me full amount of watts that are available.
26, 27, and I am providing just a little bit of power. Not much here, let me tell you. But 27 miles an hour now, relative ease. I mean, again, 1,000 watt motor, 1,850 watt peak. Again, like we said, please ride this bike responsibly if you do get it, as it is a bike that will require you to be a little bit maybe more diligent. So slow down a little bit there, providing just a little bit of an easy cadence here. I'm gonna get around this turn, and then we have a little bit of a straightaway. We're just gonna pedal now, pedal assist level 4. Let's go and kick it up and pedal assist level 5 and see what we get. So here we go, full power. Remember, the bike is overridden, 28, 29, 30, 31, and I'm barely ghost pedaling, but man, I'm still providing power. And yeah, 33 miles an hour. That is quite fast for an e-bike, let me tell you. I mean, and the bike feels stable doing that. I mean, it is just a front suspension, but you do have to be very aware. And then you can just kick up the throttle. And the thing with Ariel Rider e-bikes is that they are able to be overridden so that the throttle can provide power all the way up to that top speed. Now, again, depending on where you're riding, please follow all local laws and regulations, as that is not classified as an e-bike in most places, and so it could get you into some trouble. But doesn't take away from the fact that it's fun. So here we go. I mean, we're going 20, 30 miles an hour here with relative ease of just twisting the throttle. So, all right, and one question I know we get quite frequently, I'm gonna go ahead and turn this down to 0, and I will probably have to downshift here as we slow down, is how does the e-bike handle if, say, your battery dies? And now this bike does have a weight in the 70-pound range, so it's not going to be the easiest bike to pedal, but it's definitely not difficult, especially once you're going. So here we go. I'm keeping a little easy cadence. I'm in 4 on the shifter, and the pedal assist is turned off, and just kind of cruising at about 12 miles an hour. But know that with any e-bike, hills are going to be a little bit more difficult, as there's the extra weight of the motor and battery, which if you're pedaling without pedal assist, you're not using. So it's just extra weight at that point. So let's go ahead and throw this to the hill climb test. All right, here we are at the hill climb test. We're gonna go ahead and ride up the hill. First time is gonna be throttle alone. I'll come back down, test the brakes, and then second time up, I will test out the pedal levels and go through all the various pedal assists. All right, so throttle only. Again, this bike, you have access to throttle no matter where you are, whether you're in pedal assist 0 or 5, but as well as the fact you have full access to the throttle regardless of where you are. And if you'll notice, the speed here is set to about 22. Yeah, we're moving at this point. It is an uncapped throttle. The setting that you change in the controller, like I showed earlier, gives you access to the throttle up to whatever speed you set. So it looks like we hit about 33 miles per hour there, and so now we're doing about 29. So this bike with its 33 amp controller, 1850 watt rear, peaking rear motor is going to be able to crush this hill like nobody's business. So there is also the watt meter here, which looks like it's pulling about 1260, 1240 right now. And again, just for reference, I am a 225-pound rider, 20 miles an hour. Okay, we're still dropping a little bit. The hill is obviously completely started at this point. 18, it's still dropping. 15, looks like 15 might have been about the minimum speed there for that, because that's where it settled into, and then it was pretty much holding. So, and now, why not? Let's have some fun. Let's just do top speed, see what we get to. See, can we hit that 37 that I set the controller to on throttle only? Again, I haven't pedaled once. We're going, see, 32, 33. It's like somewhere about 33 is going to be our top speed on throttle alone. Man, that is just so impressive for an e-bike. I hesitate to call this an e-bike when you can go 33 miles an hour on throttle alone. All right, let me go ahead, give the brakes a test on my way back down, and I will come up doing pedaling. All right, coming down the hill, I was able to give these brakes a test, and they slowed down this bike no problem. I got to about 33 miles an hour, and these Tektro brakes were able to slow us down no problem. Now we're gonna go back up the hill pedaling. I'm gonna start in pedal assist level 1, and I'm gonna shift down to 1, and we'll kind of give you an idea. I'm gonna give myself a little throttle to start off here, give you an idea of what cadence you need for each pedal assist level. So I believe each pedal assist level is gonna be speed limited. So pedal assist level 1, okay, I'm starting to ghost pedal now. We're gonna shift up to 2, still in pedal assist level 1. About 10, 11, still okay. I could probably go up to 3 for a comfortable cadence. the powerfulness of this bike is really showing right now. So, all right, go up to 4 now. It looks like, I don't know, somewhere between 14 miles an hour. I'm not getting any more wattage on the display. There's a little bit of a downhill until right here now is when the uphill starts. So there we go. Let's see. So pedal assist level 1 looks like it gives you power until somewhere about 13 miles an hour. Go ahead and kick it up to pedal assist level 2. I'm still in 4 on the shifter. And yeah, I'm providing a decent bit of cadence here. Getting about 600 watts, 14 miles an hour. Yeah, this is pretty comfortable. Probably shift up to level 5, or probably shift up to 5 here on the shifter. Kick it up to pedal assist level 3. You feel the motor kick up every single time. 17, 18 miles an hour. I'm starting to ghost pedal. Go up to 6 on the shifter, 20 miles an hour. The hill's really starting. I'm gonna go into 7. I'm gonna kick it up pedal assist level 4. Again, felt the motor kick in even more. 1240 watts on the display here, and 7 on the shifter. And kick it up one more time to pedal assist level 5. I didn't feel the motor kick up anymore. Looks like about 1200 watts is gonna be about the most power that's gonna give you going up a hill. Okay, slowing down a little bit. I would probably go down to 6 on the shifter for a comfortable cadence here to provide pressure. And here we go. And now we're about 16. This bike, pedaling or on throttle, is gonna be able to get you up any hill that you can throw at it. It's just insane. So one thing I did notice about this though is that while you're riding up the hill, you do have to notice that you are gonna have some voltage drop. So I saw about, I don't know, 45% there on the display for battery charge. But as soon as you get to the top of the hill, the percentage goes back up. So now we're back up to 76%. So just keep in mind. So again, this bike completely capable of all hills. Let's go ahead and throw it to myself and I will give you my concluding thoughts on the Ariel Rider Kepler.
Ariel Rider has done it again. Just like the Grizzly I reviewed recently, the Kepler was an e-bike that I found hard to not smile on while riding. And for good reason. The Kepler is one of, if not the fastest fat tire e-bike that I've gotten to ride. Now, that statement does have to be followed by a bit of a warning. Pardon if I sound a bit like a broken record, so bear with me. The Kepler is an e-bike that fits into a bit of a gray area for some local laws and regulations. The motor size and ability to power the e-bike on throttle power alone up to speeds, as I found, into the 30s, means that you would need to ride responsibly and with a bit of awareness than on some other e-bikes. One bad e-biker can taint someone's views on e-bikes entirely. I think most people looking at the Kepler know what they're getting, but in case you did not, it's worth checking into your local laws and regulations or wherever you plan to ride this e-bike. Now, back to the fun stuff about the Kepler. This e-bike comes in at just $18.99. At that price, you're getting an e-bike that is packed with features. The fat tire e-bike is available in 2 frame styles, a traditional high step and more of a mid-step e-bike. There's also 4 color options that are subtle but nicely styled, and most of all, there's an availability of pink, which is not a common color that we see available on e-bikes. Let's jump to the biggest reason most of you are here, the motor and electrical system. The Kepler utilizes a 52 volt electrical system, a 33 amp controller, a 1000 watt motor that's peaking close to 1850 watts, and a giant 20 amp hour battery. What all those parts add up to is a fast and fun e-bike that was capable of carrying me, a 225 pound rider, up our hill climb test without even breaking a sweat. Thanks to the 20 amp hour battery, boasts a claimed range of 75 plus miles. That is of course in optimal conditions with assumptions that you are pedaling, as the throttle happy among users will come in a bit under that estimate. The color LCD display, while it can be difficult to read in direct sunlight, is robust and capable. The inclusion of blinkers, a brake actuated taillight, and a bright LED headlight are great ways to increase safety and visibility to other road and path users. The 26x4 inch CST BFT tires do help support this robustly capable e-bike. But more than that, there's a sturdy looking rear rack. The rear rack has a weight capacity of 77 pounds, and it looks like it's capable of just that. It sports multiple basket mounting options and pannier hangers. While the rack is included, all the baskets and pannier bags will need to be purchased separately. Check out our e-bike escape store for a range of options that fit the Kepler and many other e-bikes. To keep this powerful e-bike under control, we're happy to see Tektro hydraulic disc brakes. These have become our standard go-to when we want to slow something down, and we're a welcome sight, especially on the Kepler. The name brand parts carry over to the drivetrain. The Shimano Sysindex shifter and Altus derailleur are perfectly capable, but are on the lower end of the Shimano offerings. But with all the other high-end specs, we're still happy to see name brand parts. Another thing we're happy to see, if you're planning to do some pedaling, is the 11 to 34 tooth rear gear paired to a 52 tooth front chainring. This will allow you to provide some of your own power even into those higher speeds. If you watched this video and decided you want something a bit more powerful, you're probably a bit crazy, but check out the Ariel Rider Grizzly. And if you do decide to purchase any Ariel Rider model, please consider using our links down in the description. All purchases made after clicking those links help us pay to recharge our review e-bikes here at Ebike Escape. Overall, the Ariel Rider Kepler is for someone who wants a more powerful than most motor paired with a giant battery at a reasonable price. Seriously, there's a reason this has been one of the most requested fat tire e-bikes for us to review over the last year. Sorry for the delay, but it did not disappoint. So, what do you think of the Ariel Rider and the Kepler? Let us know down in the comments below. And until next time, ride safe, and I'll catch you all in the next one.